Every one of us faces unseen barriers, these limiting beliefs that are holding us back. But imagine breaking free and rewriting your own story. That's where Neuro-Linguistic Programming comes in, a powerful tool used for transformation by experts like Tony Robbins and mastered by our guest, James R. Elliot. James is not just a coach, he's a guide breaking through those invisible boundaries, helping entrepreneurs grow their business and live fulfilling lives beyond their dreams. Today, we dive into the mind's potential with James, uncovering how to shatter limiting beliefs and unlock a world of possibilities.
The good news is that your life will become so amazing and so rich and full of joy and passion and purpose and fulfillment when you do. It's worth every second of it, and I can promise you that.
James, what has been your edge in life? What has been the thing that you have that has given you a unique advantage or a quality that has set you apart from everyone else in your journey through transformation and empowerment?
That's an easy answer, actually. I was like, well, that's a good question. But it's an easy answer. It's the perseverance and the resilience that I've developed over the years from things that were sometimes pretty horrible. There's a saying I love, there's a blessing in every curse and a curse in every blessing. So it's been through the resilience and perseverance I built, and I'm not sure how deep you want to get into this, but from a lot of bullying, being picked on, anxiety, depression from the bullying, being the skinny kid everyone picked on, then blowing up to being a big guy with lots of weight on me that there's another reason to make fun of me. Okay, I thought I was... So it's just this perseverance and resilience, just to tie it really tightly into nothing will ever stop me if I want something. If I want to get somewhere and achieve something, I will, and nothing ever has stopped me. So I would say what I love to teach and help people build and gain, and that's one of my superpowers, I guess, if you will.
Mm-hmm. I love that, but I would love to unpack that just a little bit more.
Sure.
And have you just kind of share a little bit of your story from some of the bullying to now transforming into the man that you are today.
For sure. I mean, the bullying coupled with health issues, coupled with anxiety, depression, obesity issues, there's a whole whack of stuff. And so looking at that and thinking, I had a big victim mindset, like a lot of people do when this big stuff happens to them. And I looked at myself and my life and I said, is this the man I really want to be? It's like, oh my God, this is not the life I want to have. Who do I want to be? Who's the man I want to be? And just looking at some of my mentors, people I love, Sir Richard Branson, Tony Robbins, things like that, people I really revered, I was like, this is not, the He-Man even, when I was a kid, right? Looking at people that I loved and revered, I'm like, this is not how they would be. What would they do instead? And the man I want to be, who achieves things, kicks ass and takes names, what would he do? Well, he would just take it and again, find a way to use it as rocket fuel, to use it as almost helping me develop my purpose and thinking, okay, well, I can help other people who are going through things themselves as well, with problems with being heard or being seen or being recognized, being appreciated. Because that moved with me from public school, high school. That moved with me into my corporate career, still for the first few years not being seen, not being heard, recognized, promoted, things like that, until I shifted all this stuff. And then everything started changing. So I'm not sure I fully have answered your question yet, but just that's the story behind it. And thinking, I can either get mad and be victim and blame, or I can literally take responsibility for everything I want. And take responsibility if I don't have it or it's happening and I don't want it, to take responsibility versus the blame game. Because we point one finger, you have three pointing back at you. How do I take responsibility for this and go achieve what I want no matter what, and realize this is all me. The failures are all me, the wins are all me. So how do I take that power back? And since it's all me, I'm creating this. I'm with my actions, thoughts, behaviors, inactions. How do I go ahead and really, again, use this as my rocket fuel to propel me and push me to succeed and overcome this stuff? That way I can even help others, which is, again, that much higher of a mission. And really that was what started to inspire me. I'm like, wow, I can teach people how I got over this stuff, how I got through this stuff, and just that decision. One saying I hate the most is people say, oh, change is so hard or change takes so long. It doesn't have to. It can happen like in an instant with that decision I made. This ends here. And it did. Was I perfect instantly from that moment after? No. I had a lot of work to do and a lot of growth to do. However, it ended. The victim mindset, the old me ended there and the new me began. So change could happen with a decision and a commitment versus, well, I want to lose weight or I'd like to make more money. No, you need that commitment too, and I'm willing to do anything legal, moral, and ethical to have that.
Was there somebody at the time or an event or some sort of seminar you went to where you finally realized like, hey, I'm going to stop being a victim? What was the pivotal moment? Because for you, you just said it right there that you were like, this isn't the man I wanted to be, but at some point there has to be something to initiate that reflection of I'm living a life that I just can't stand anymore. What was that? Was that a process, or was there like a moment that was instantly like something has to change?
There was, I would say both actually, and here's why I say that. There was really three incidents that happened. I'm saying two, three incidents that happened really around the same time. I was looking and realizing who the women I wanted to date, who they were attracted to, and it certainly wasn't me. So looking at that, I don't mean just the pretty boys, but like generally who they were going in with, who they wanted in a man. I'm like, okay, that has to shift. Then looking at my work when I was at IBM and Lenovo and Novell, okay, who are the people that are wildly successful? Who are the people that are promoted, and not the brown-noser type of promoted, not the step-on people, but who are the really influential leaders that everyone loves and everyone wants at the top? Not, well, they stepped on people to get there or they kissed ass to get there. People who really deserve it and really are influential, and people like, we all want you to be there. We want to support you. Please lead us. And looking at those people, and then even in my personal life, looking at, well, who do people want to befriend? Who do people want to be friends with? Who does everyone resonate with? And it certainly isn't the victim mentality, the people who are woe is me or doing nothing or victim mentality or not taking action. It was people who are up to stuff. And I was seeing people that no matter what happened, and again, horrible things sometimes happen to them, they've taken that and they've almost turned that into their shtick, their superpower, their purpose. I mean, there's this, again, some people with a lot worse off even than I was, and I saw them rise and shine. There's a lot of really good examples out there in the world about that. And I thought, well, if they can do it with 4 arms and legs, or with a normal functioning brain or whatever, I can do it with a normal functioning brain, 4 arms and legs or whatever, right? And so it was that decision, holy crap, there's people I want to be like when it comes to dating, when it comes to leading in business, when it comes to friends and personal, when it comes to health as well, looking at people that were healthy at the gym, and were they eating junk and were they drinking a lot? No, they were cut out sugar and cut out booze and only ate good food. They exercised a lot. It was that like 4 pivotal moments, like back to back to back to back, saying, holy crap, I want that, not this. I want that, not this. And so then it became a process, just to answer your question and tie it up, it became a process of me figuring out, how do I get that and that and that and that? Who would I need to become? I hired a mentor, which was a major catalyst. Chantel, my first mentor or coach, she became a major catalyst as well. And then I've always had usually 2 mentors and maybe 1 or 2 unofficial mentors at any given time to continue the process and the growth. But yeah, that decision and just having that, okay, I want that. I want that, I want that, and just seeing people who had what I wanted and saying, well, how do I get there?
Mm-hmm. And I can relate to what you just said so much, because when I began my journey of transformation from going to be a full-time production welder manager into starting the Life Edge and what we were doing, I remember feeling like I'm watching all these people around me go that I followed on social media, and they're going, or even some friends going and succeeding, and thinking like, oh, they have something I don't, or they're better than me at this, and almost idolizing them and separating myself like we weren't equal in some way.
Fair.
And then realizing that I was disempowering myself because there's nothing different from me or someone who has succeeded at the highest level, because we're just humans. We all have 24 hours in the day. They're just using their 24 hours in a more productive way than I was.
That's it. That's it. They knew a few more things than I knew back then. They know a few things more than you did back then. And it's like, you're right. No one's better or worse than anyone else. I've met, I've worked with and met, 7-figure, 8-figure people. I've met a couple billionaires. Maybe they may have more expensive problems, but we all have very similar problems, concerns, worries, fears, doubts. And, like my brake job on my car is maybe a couple thousand versus on someone's whatever Lamborghini, it may be 20,000 to have a brake job, right? So more expensive problems, but very similar things, and they're all human. It's been incredibly humble working with people from all over the world, all types of people, widely successful or sometimes down in the dumps. Very humbling. Like you said, no one's better or worse than anyone else. I do my best not to be judgy, because who am I to judge anyways? I'm here to lift people up, to teach people the tools and principles that I learned that will help them become wildly successful in business and helping others and making money and making a difference and overcoming their blocks, overcoming their challenges. Because you're right, no one's better or worse. There's nothing wrong with any of us, like you discovered too. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, and so one of those tools I know you use and that you teach people and you certify people in is NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming.
Yes.
Can you explain, like, where did this become something where you're like, I understand the power of NLP, I want to use it? And even if you have like some stories you could share with us of times where you've either used it in your life to transform your life or have seen success in other people's lives with the power of NLP.
For sure. Yeah, NLP definitely is one of the tools I use and teach as well. Very powerful, very robust, and in a nutshell, it's like a user manual to the mind. It's teaching you how your mind works and how to get past challenges or not wanting to work out or not wanting to, go make sales calls, but doing it anyways. Overcoming like fears, procrastination, resistance, things like NLP and this other tool, timeline therapy. I mean, there's a bunch of them, but these are two of the major ones. Will help us shift our behaviors, shift our thoughts, shift our actions, shift our feelings. That way we're more, I'll use this word loosely, empowered, if you will, or more mentally in a place, in the zone to lose weight, to say no to the cake, to say yes to the carrots or whatever, to say no to the bad habits, no to the booze, yes to the gym, yes to running, yes to making sales calls or working late on a Friday or working Saturday because you want your business to grow, you want to grow, want to be successful, versus the subconscious emotional desires or primal desires of, well, I feel like eating junk, or I feel like death scrolling on social media, or I feel like not running or working out today, I feel like sitting on my butt, or like not calling people, whatever it is, changing those behaviors. So it's a user manual for the mind is one of the tools, or one of the, I guess, what it is. The second, what it is, it's a trail of tools and techniques which will help you achieve some amazing things and really model what successful people do while still being yourself, but model what makes them, the secrets, the keys that make them successful, figure out and model what they do while still being yourself. And I suppose if I were to give it a number 3, again, like I said, it's a manual for the mind. It's a way to shift blocks, behaviors, actions, habits. It's a way to shift beliefs, because if we believe we can do it, we'll go do it. If we believe we can't go do it, that's where we're not good enough or not worthy or whatever. That's where a lot of the resistance is. That's what causes a lack of influence, persuasion. NLP can help you be ethically and authentically persuasive and influential, so that people just say yes to you versus telling they say yes to you. And again, you're much more wildly successful. I would say in a nutshell, and I'll give you one more. It's a way to up level and deprogram the programs that don't work and reprogram and upgrade the programs, the computer programs in our supercomputer, which is our brain. Upgrade those programs and delete some of the stuff that doesn't work, that we've learned from parents, culture, society, religion, politics, news, media, teachers, authority figures, or failures. I must not be very coordinated because I couldn't catch a football, or I fell during the school dance, everyone laughed at me, I must not be coordinated or must not be good at dancing. All these limiting beliefs we develop. NLP and timeline therapy will help just erase those and then upgrade this supercomputer. It's like I don't know, trying to run a fantastic life or a really cool business application or a game on, Windows 2000 or Windows 95. I may be dating myself here, versus upgrading that operating system in the supercomputer, and you can run anything you want, have any kind of success. So those are the 4 or 5 really things of what NLP is and why the heck people should care and what it can help people do.
NLP has become a powerful tool that you use with your clients, and you're teaching it to a lot of people. Where were you first introduced to NLP and the power of neuro-linguistic programming?
Got it. So yeah, learning NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. I got first introduced by my first coach and mentor, Chantel. Working with her on some of my hangups, my habits, beliefs, what I wanted to achieve, and blocks and barriers. I said, this is amazing. I've gotten so much so quickly. It blew me away how fast and how much change and growth I got. Now, I was also taking action after the sessions. It wasn't all the sessions. It was my responsibility to take action and do the doing. But the thing is, though, I thought, this is amazing. I think I'd like to do this and learn these tools and maybe help others. And because my life had transformed quite rapidly, and I'd learned some really, really cool things. Because often you can't think your way out of a problem. But this got me out of the problems. And she said, I think you'd be really good at it, actually. Here's maybe like an entry course or level 1 course. Why don't you go take the course? And I did. I loved it. I took another course, another training, another certification, another one, and then I got certified to teach. I became a master trainer apprentice as well for 5 years. It went on and on and on, and just hiring all kinds of mentors and trainings and continuing the development. I guess it's become a borderline addiction, but it's just wanting to be the best I can be and shifting and growing into that man I've always wanted to be, so I can make a big difference in people and planet and others. And yes, live a life of abundance and help others live a life of abundance, because I believe it's possible. I think we can have freedom, travel, fun, and make a ton of money and help a lot of people or help the world, whatever you want to do. I believe it's completely possible. And sometimes it's our beliefs that mess with that and say, well, you can only do one. You can have a job that you love or make a lot of money, or you can have a job you love, but you can't really help people. Or if you help people, you can't make that. All these limiting beliefs and beliefs about money and lack and abundance and what's possible and what's not possible, all that stuff needs to go, or being just so torn and conflicted. Again, this is the stuff NLP and timeline therapy dramatically helps with, makes a difference, and even some tools that I've developed myself over the years of helping people achieve what they want and become highly influential, and also free themselves from the fears, the doubt, the worries, the limitations too. It's changed my life, and it's super cool. It's kick-ass that I get to do this and help others and teach others to do this too. And again, you want travel, you want abundance, you want freedom of time, you want to work remotely anywhere you want, making great money, doing really cool things that you love, and helping people or making an impact somehow in the world. It's possible, and that's what I help people do.
For somebody listening and they hear that and they're like, man, I want all those things that you just mentioned, but it seems too good to be true. Or like it just can't be true. Is there what would your response be to somebody like that?
I'm glad you asked that question as well, because often, people think, oh, this is too good to be true, just because what happens, it doesn't align with their thinking. It doesn't align with their beliefs, because their teacher or their mom or their dad, or they had so many failures that they decided, X is not possible, or Y is, or X and Y is not possible. You got to choose between a job you enjoy and money, or I don't know, making a difference versus a job you hate. All these things. It's our beliefs, and I completely believe you can have all these things. We can all control our behaviors, actions, thoughts, beliefs, right? Especially with these tools. The only thing we can't control is time. And so again, it can be the time. And for some people, it comes faster, sooner. Some people, certain things come easier, harder, faster, sooner, right? And so that's the only thing we can control. And I was someone that used to walk the line of burnout. I used to just push so hard until I learned just to relax and flow. Yes, do your best. Yes, invest time and focus on the things that'll move the needle, make the difference. And avoid pushing or stressing or having anxiety about having it right now, right? Do the things you need to do right now, and it'll come. There's a metaphor about a bamboo tree. I think it needs 5 years as a seed or something like that to grow. It needs water and air and fertilizer for 5 years. and you see like what nothing's happening. What is going on? My seed is not growing. Then all of a sudden it grows like I think it's like 90 feet in I don't know a few months. I'm probably not getting the statistics exactly correct, but it grows like 90 feet in a matter of months after 5 years of incubation. Which is why all these people, you often see them as a 5 or 10 or 15 year overnight success. So I think that would be my rebuttal to people. It may not be instant success. You may see someone else have in what appears to be instant success, but it's not. They've been working on themselves, their business, their beliefs, their actions, habits for years, and all of a sudden it clicks. They crack that final number of the safe, the lock. They crack that final number. They open the safe and open the vault to anything they want in the world.
How much of what people think is holding them back is mostly just their mind and their limit and their beliefs, rather than it's actually the government or the economy or where they live or their boss or this or that? How much of it is truly just themselves and their limiting beliefs?
Fair. I would say the majority of it. And I'll caveat it that there is some things you can't control. However, what you have absolute control over, especially with these tools, is your thinking, your behaviors, your actions, how you focus on, and your focus. Do I focus on all the crap in the world? Because there's lots. Do I focus on all the great stuff in the world? Because there's lots. And controlling your mindset, all that's under your control. And all that, by having control of that and taking responsibility of everything you want, will make a massive difference, even if, to your point, you may not be able to control the environment or your spouse. Avoid trying. It's not. There's no point anyways. Or the government, the economy, or the whatever. Right. Years ago, when I was back at IBM, we had a manager say to us, "I no longer want to hear that it's the economy about why our numbers are down and why you're all not selling as much." And I'm like, what a jerk. What an ass. And now realizing that's interesting, because we were all using it to slack, using it as a limiting belief. Oh, it's the environment. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. Sure, you may not be able to control the environment, but what can we do? What can I do? What can you do that'll change that? Do we, have different sales? Do we promote things differently? Do we have more events for customers? Do we invite more people out? Do we do something different that even in a downtime in an economy will win? I mean, there's lots of people that made a lot of money during 2020, during COVID, 21, 22. There's lots of people that made it like bank robbers, and people that didn't. I think it's looking at that and realizing, yes, certain things you can't control, and avoid worrying or pushing or fearing and being anxious about things you can't control or getting mad, and just focus on and pay attention to what you can control, because that'll change the outcome of all that stuff out there anyways. When you change what you do and how you think and how you behave, it changes everything anyways.
Mm-hmm. And you talk about creating unstoppable leaders, and a lot of people don't. So this is going to be a multifaceted question. A lot of people don't look at themselves as a leader, but in order to succeed even in your own life, you have to become the leader of your life, right? So first off, what are the qualities of an unstoppable leader in your eyes?
Yeah, great question. For someone that's unstoppable as a leader, again, taking responsibility for what they want. There was, I can't remember what it might have been GE or some huge company. The CEO decided, that they are a world-class company. But when he looked around the office and the company, there was clutter everywhere and stuff, papers all around and clutter. So every day he took responsibility for what he wanted to have happen. And he went out to random floors in this huge office tower, and he would clean up clutter, put stuff in the garbage, stuff in the recycling, tidy up. And people were like, why the hell is a CEO doing like janitor duty? And he wanted to show people he wasn't above anyone. We're all equal. He wasn't above anyone. And that if he wanted something, that he also needed to take responsibility for what he wanted. And so he started to do it, and other people took note, and they started cleaning up clutter. And then again, they had a world-class office, which reflected the world-class company. And it's really, really neat to see that. There's been even stories of female CEOs, female leaders, and getting down in the ditches with some of the construction workers that were working on a building or something to show them, hey, here's a better way, here's a faster way, here's an easier way. And I discovered this. I'm not as strong as you, but here's a way I found to make it easier, to make you more productive. She got down in the ditches, and I think it was heels in a dress, got down in the ditches to dig, and these men were just these construction workers, most of the men, were just blown away that the CEO of this huge construction company would actually do that. Again, she took responsibility for having amazing people that worked safe, were high performance, got things done on time for clients, and did a great job. I think she needed a new pair of shoes after that. But again, taking responsibility and people taking notice, they're like, wow. And that's what creates an amazing leader, or a level 5 leader, as John Maxwell talks about, someone that people revere you and support you and look up to as a leader because of your way of being, of who you are and what you stand for, what you represent and the things you stand for. That's why they love you. That's why they revere you. And that's why they'll follow you in a battle and stick around during tough times, versus a leader that says, do this because I told you so, or heaven forbid, a leader that, talks the talk, I can't walk the walk, or do as I say, not as I do, which will kill any kind of trust or rapport or respect or anything. And I've seen it. I've seen it all. Someone who's highly influential and highly ethically, authentically persuasive will create an unstoppable leader and allow people to become an unstoppable leader. Someone who is authentic and real versus all the BS you see out there in the news or media or social media and all this stuff these days, all the BS about people's perfect lives, when sometimes their life on social media looks great, but their life's actually a dumpster fire. Being raw and real, no one's perfect, we're all human. And I think that authenticity, it goes a long way. Just like when I'm open and I share, hey, I wasn't always this man. I was, someone that was shy and not cool and bullied and didn't think much of himself and didn't achieve much and victim and lazy and this and that. And then there's no judgment there, but that's who I was. I wasn't always this way. I was overweight. I was fat. I had man boobs. People made fun of me and bullied. Now they're pecs and they're awesome. But in the it's transforming myself from that and being able to really authentically be, hey, I was there and it sucked. And so if you're going through that right now, I get it. I hear you. I feel for you, and I can help you get out of there if you want. If you'll take action. If you'll take my hand, because I can't make you. So those are a few of the things. And I would say also, last thing, always be improving, always be learning, always be growing as a leader, to be an unstoppable leader, because that way you grow. And the people I shouldn't say under you, the people with you, hey, everyone's at our level. The people with you will grow as you grow. Everyone will up level as you up level as a leader. So that is how, in my opinion, to become an unstoppable leader. That's for sure.
Were there times in your journey of going from being the kid who was overweight, man boobs, bullied, to who you are today, where you dealt with imposter syndrome, or feeling like no matter what, I'm still always going to be that kid who was overweight, bullied, and isn't who he is today?
There sure was. I mean, it was interesting that I lost the weight, and again, I was still the old, broke, fat James that was called a loser and all kinds of other names in my head after I lost the weight and got fit. And some of my friends who were not as fit as me were like, I don't know how you don't have dates lined up every night, because they did. And I was like, I wish I could get a date. And they're like, if I look like you, James, I would have like 5 different dates every different night, looking how you look and how fit you are, and how good you look in a tight shirt. And I was like, oh my God, like, well, I don't feel that way. I don't feel like I'm good enough or worthy or confident, or that a good-looking person or a popular person would like me. It was fascinating, that realization. Although yes, it gained my confidence, losing the weight and getting fit. I had more confidence. But there was still that old mindset, the old, fat, old, broken, loser, victim James. And so that was a big shift at a big stage that I still had to overcome. That one big shift from health and weight. And then, like you said, it was the mindset. I realized that 95% of success is up here. And there's many, many people that would echo that. Even, oh my goodness, he owns Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway. Warren Buffett, he says the best investment you can make is not in a stock or a share, a bond or a fund. It's in yourself. And he's a multi-billionaire, so I think he knows what he's talking about. And so just different stages, and it's been an evolution for sure. But after the health thing, realizing that mindset, and in fact mindset was all contributing to some of the health issues. When I shifted the mindset and upgraded the mindset, which also included consistent and constant work on myself and vigilance of what I allowed in my brain, in my ears, and what I allowed to go on inside my head, and stopping if it was like victim or focus on that's so crappy. Really being cognizant of what was going on to keep growing, keep evolving, and it's like working out. You can't work out one day and stop. You continue working out to get stronger and better and maintain it for life. I guess that's the bad news I have to tell you. It is lifelong. The growth, the work, the development is lifelong. The maintenance is lifelong, although it's same as working out, same as, I don't know, having a job or TV show or podcast or keeping a car. You have to clean it and maintain it. It's like anything. It's the maintenance. So that's the bad news. But the good news is that your life will become so amazing and so rich and full of joy and passion and purpose and fulfillment when you do. It's worth every second of it. And I can promise you that. It's worth every second, and it will become amazing as you keep evolving. So that, to answer your question in more of a short answer, yes, the weight loss stage, the mindset stage, the ongoing development and maintenance stage, and I'll say there's even an authenticity stage, because even when I got my mind right, and I'm like, well, now this is me, I really kind of hid. I don't like to use the word kind of, but I kind of hid from the old me. And I'm like, oh, this is me. I'm awesome. I'm perfect. I'm fit. I'm whatever. And then becoming a more authentic person, which way more people resonated. People like the cool, new, fit, funny, confident James. However, it was still affecting some relationships. It was affecting some sales because I wasn't being real or raw and authentic and saying, look, hey, I'm not perfect either. Because no one's going to resonate with a perfect person or want to buy from a perfect person, right? They don't. It's too far away. It don't resonate. So that authenticity and being real with people and genuinely not worrying about, and maybe I'll even say not even caring if someone judged me or didn't like something. That's okay. That's me. And just being more open and raw and real and completely stopping worrying what people think about me, and being authentic and real and open. That was the fourth kind of big step and shift, if you will, into things.
What do you identify as now? Like, who is James today, and what are some of the struggles or things that he's working on to continue improving himself?
So the man I am today is someone who genuinely wants to help people. That is why I'm here. I have no doubt that that's why I'm here, to help people make a difference in people and planet. I love helping people who want to help people and who want to help the world. I think we're killing the world and the planet, but also I think we're killing each other. And you don't have to look very far to see that going on in the world. Whether it's some people wildly rich and successful, and some people at just starvation and poverty, even in our own countries here in North America. All the wars and famine and stuff all over the world, there's a lot of it going on, and I think we can make a big impact and have a very lucrative business doing that. And I truly believe it's possible. And when someone doesn't think that's possible, again, that's when we start to check the beliefs. So the man I am now is an authentic, raw, and real person. I'll apologize when I make a mistake. I'll own it. If I screw up, I'll own it. You know what? I'm sorry. That was crappy. I was a jerk. That didn't work. I own that. That was my bad. And how do we fix this? How do I make it right? Type thing. And just again, without trying to be perfect and kill myself in the effort of being perfect and working out, maximal times and judging myself for not being the best or missing the gym one day or not feeling like, I don't know, making sales calls one day or having a half day or one day off ran because I'm like, I need to rest. I need self-care. It's that person that not being perfect, but again, being the best man I can be, being the best person I can be, and helping other people figure out who that is. And of course, and then how to do it. And then what are the beliefs, what are the actions, what are the habits, and how do you get aligned and congruent inside versus the conflicted, part of me thinks this, part of me feels that, part of me wants that, but part of me doubts this, and helping people get clear and congruent on what they really want, and then giving them the tools and the skills and the know-how to get there and to figure out a clarity of vision of who that is anyways. A lot of people don't move towards it because they have no idea where that is. So help people get that vision, and yes, creating some accountability, calling BS from a very caring place. I call it ruthless compassion, being compassionate in a ruthless way, saying, is this really who you want to be? This what you're doing or not doing? Is this really who you want to be? And creating a bit of accountability is there because I certainly need it. I certainly need to be called out sometimes on my BS or my excuses. That's the man I want to be, is helping people succeed and just being an example of a great leader. I think we need more of those. If you look at leaders, politics, company leaders, anyone, I think we really need examples of great leaders, and I intend to be one and give my best and to create more kick-ass, empowered, awesome, unstoppable leaders as well. That's who I want to be.
For anyone who's listening and may be ready to begin their own transformation, but they're fighting their fears or their doubts, what advice would you give them?
Great question. So, and I'll caveat this, my first thought is just do it. Whether you follow Sir Richard Branson, who says, screw it, let's do it. Or Phil Knight of Nike, who says, just do it. Like that's what the shoe says, just do it. Whether it's Justin Serling, who says, F it, and live in F it and just go for it. Whatever mantra you have, take action. You're going to learn one way or another. If you win, you lose, you fail, and there's really no such thing as failure anyways, unless you learn nothing, and I don't even know how that's possible, to learn nothing from a relationship or a business or a venture or an ad or a test or marketing that doesn't work out. It's my thing. It's just that it's impossible not to learn. So take action. Be willing to fail, and almost fail your way to success. There's a book called Success Starts with Failure, and it's true. Your first anything is not going to be perfect. However, if you wait for it to be perfect, it never will be, and it'll never be out there. Done is better than perfect. Get it done, and then get it perfect, versus being in your mind or in the lab and overanalyzing and tweaking it and changing it and adjusting it and overanalyzing it 10 times, 20 times, 100 times, and then maybe eventually putting it out there, maybe never putting it out there, or maybe putting it out there and it's become so bastardized, your first brilliant idea, that no one wants it. They're like, what is this crap? This is too convoluted, too complicated, versus your first awesome high-level idea. Put it out there, test it. Who loves it? Who doesn't love it? What is their feedback? How does it work? How did it not work? Great. Now I can change it, do it again, put it back out there, and take action again. I mean, if you didn't learn to take a step and fall, you wouldn't learn to walk. If you didn't get on that bike and learn, okay, when I'm biking, I don't do this or that too sharply because I'll fall. I gently steer. If you didn't do that, you wouldn't be riding a bike or walking even, for that matter. So it's all about failing forward, failing to success. I've had massive failures in my life. I celebrate all of them, because the most successful people in the world, people say, why are you so successful? What gave you success? And they say, well, I just tested more things. I tried more things. I failed more than other people. That's how I learned how to do it, and what works, what doesn't work. That's why I'm here. I was not afraid of failure. So my advice is not to be afraid of failure, and take action, and the most important caveat, yes, do the inner work. Use tools like NLP, timeline therapy, my power process, things like that, my PODA system, to help you become more confident and stop the analyzation or overanalyzation. Stop the self-doubt, the imposter syndrome. Take the right actions. Think the right way. Think an ideal way. Think how you want to think, or how you need to think to become wildly successful and very happy and abundant and making a big difference. There's my two things. Work on your mind, get your mind right, and then everything else follows. And again, take action no matter what. And sometimes getting your mind right involves taking action and taking risk and investing in yourself. That would be my two solutions for that.
We've talked about NLP and some of your offerings, but could you just give us a brief explanation of some of the coaching and different services that you offer?
Yeah. So a lot of our programs range from leadership training to business success for entrepreneurs, to really helping established entrepreneurs go to, become who they need to be, to become seven-figure leaders. With aspiring coaches and mentors, we have training programs for them too. And most of the programs are 11-week programs, which combine a group course and group training, combining that with one-on-one, because again, there's things we can do better in a group, there's things we can do better one-on-one, and then an ongoing success system whereby when you're done the course officially, I don't disappear, you don't disappear, we don't say goodbye, you stay, and whether 1 times a month or 3 times a month, we have these support systems, these webinars, these get-togethers, these check-in sessions for life, ongoing. As long as you want, we have these it's called a support and success system. I don't go anywhere at the end of our initial work together. We continue with masterminds, with more one-on-one work together, with a free community night get-together once a month, and more often than that. So it's about the group learning, group training, group breakthroughs, then you will learn a lot from other people too, and they will learn a lot from you too. It's a very, very fulfilling environment. A very small class size as well. Like I said, coupled with one-on-one, coupled with an ongoing support system, is really the gist of how I do things and how it works. I get together once a week, and then there's opportunities to practice in between the weekly sessions for 11 weeks. And it's a lot of fun. It's a ton of fun, a lot of experience, a lot of integration, a lot of practice, activity, question and answer, brainstorming, and thinking about the lessons, thinking about your thinking. And again, practicing, that way you get better, and practice makes permanent. I don't believe anything's perfect. Practice makes permanent. And I think that can be a very, very effective. I've done this for over 24 years. I've been helping people, teaching, mentoring for over 24 years. I know it works, and I know it doesn't work, and I've created a system that basically guarantees your success. Unless you fail, unless you bail, and the only way to fail is to give up, is what I meant to say. The only way to fail is to give up. Unless you bail, unless you wail and bail, or give up, or avoid practicing, it's impossible to fail. It genuinely is impossible to fail with my system because of the way I've designed it, and doing this for 24 years and failing lots myself. I figured out how to basically ensure others don't fail at what they want to achieve, and that's through these systems I've created.
Thank you for that. And I agree with you. It goes back to what you said is your superpower or your edge in life in the beginning, which is just resiliency and perseverance, because a lot more people would be better off in life if they had a lot more resiliency and perseverance and didn't just bail every time the going got tough.
Exactly. After 1 time, 2 times, 10 times, 1,000 times, avoid bailing. And if you do that often, that's often you that read the story. It's called 10 Feet from Gold, about a bunch of miners who were 10 feet from gold and they gave up. And someone else came in and knew better, and they kept mining, and they found the biggest, I think it was in Alaska or Yukon, biggest gold vein, I think, in history up there. When other miners found a bit of gold, but eventually they gave up because they weren't finding anymore. So 10 feet from gold. Never, ever, ever give up till you get what you want.
Mm-hmm. As we start to wrap up here, there's one question I love to ask all the guests, and that is, what is one lesson that you've learned in life that you want to share with all the listeners?
I suppose I'll echo my never give up. Never, ever, ever give up if you want it. You can adjust, you can tweak, you can zig versus zag, maybe step back to step forward, slow down to speed up, whatever metaphor you want to use. You can adjust and tweak, absolutely. However, never, ever, ever give up. And the second lesson is always, always, always be working on yourself. And I meet some people that say, no, I don't have any limiting beliefs, or I don't think I have beliefs, or I'm not conflicted about anything. And we've just got done talking about their conflicts or their beliefs. It's actually fascinating. But it's and the beliefs, these limiting beliefs and conflicts are so powerful because often we're totally unaware of them. They'll speak them and tell me about them unconsciously, subconsciously, just in a conversation. And they'll say, no, I don't have any limiting beliefs. I don't think I have any conflicts, or I don't have any fears or doubts. Okay, well, why aren't you doing the thing you just said you wanted to do? Why aren't you having that? Why aren't you doing that? Why aren't you taking action? You just told me you weren't doing that. So that would be the two things is, again, persevere and never give up, and always, always, always be working on yourself. There's different strokes for different folks. There's many, many ways to work on yourself. I have found that the tools I teach are the most impactful for myself and for people who want to succeed in life, in business, in relationships, in leadership, and in health. By far the most impactful. That's why I use them. That being said, there's a lot of different tools. So find the ones that resonate with you. And again, never, ever, ever give up. Number 2, until you get there. It's the key. Focus on what you want. If you want a couple more, focus on what you want. Because again, there's a lot of crap, a lot of good stuff. Focus on what you want. Because that's what'll get you there. And again, take action like we talked about before. Just always be in action. Otherwise, you can hope and dream and wish and wait, and you need to be in action. You don't have to push or exhaust yourself or kill yourself or burn yourself out. We do need to take action as well, which involves, again, working on yourself. That would be my biggest tips and tools to be wildly successful and happy at that.
Well, James, thank you for being on the show. I know that you actually have a free gift for our listeners, so why don't you take a minute and just tell them about that?
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, I've got 2. As a matter of fact. So one is it's an e-guide I've created. It's a kick-ass guide. It's called 8 Keys that Transform Business Owners into 7-Figure Leaders and Unlocking Fun, Freedom, Confidence, and Fulfillment while avoiding burnout, overwhelm, and self-doubt. I've also got something called the Persuasion Playbook, and it's basically about how to be authentically highly persuasive and influential so you hear more people tell you yes. So I'll make both of those available depending on the needs and interest of your listeners. Those would be the two goodies, two bonuses, two things that I have and I would like to give and share.
Awesome. Thank you. Where can the listener, viewer go to connect with you?
Great question. So unleashyourpower.com is a great one as well. James at unleashyourpower.com is a great email address for me as well, and a way to reach out to me. And again, if you want, look me up on YouTube, James R for Robert, Elliot, Unleash Your Power. You'll find my YouTube channel, all my stuff. You can reach out to me there as well. But again, unleashyourpower.com. There's a lot of ways, of course, on the website to be able to reach back out to me, and I'll get you the links for the lead magnets as well to share with people and for the freebies and bonuses.
Awesome. Yeah. So if you want to get one of these free gifts that he's offered, I'll make sure to put the links down below in the show notes. And also I'll include the links to his website and YouTube channel down below so that you can connect with him and sign up for some of his coaching, connect with James. He's a great guy. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you.
And if you've enjoyed the conversation, I hope that you would like, subscribe, rate and review this podcast, share it with a friend. So that we can help continue growing and getting great guests on here like James. So,
right on.
James, thank you again for being on the Life Edge podcast with us.
My pleasure, brother. My pleasure, Chris. Thank you very much for having me as well, and to everyone's wild success.